What's up, guys? Today we are at one of our 7-bedroom mega houses here in North Myrtle Beach. It's a vacation rental for us. We started with this one in May of this year and didn't really get the reviews, if we're being honest. Didn't have tremendous reviews. There's a lot of little things we need to fix up. And as you know, you gotta have great reviews to get great revenue. You gotta have great reviews to show up in the Airbnb and VRBO algorithms. So today we're walking you through what we're fixing up this off season so we can get back on track and kill it this year in profit. Okay, so the first place we're gonna start is right as you walk in, and this is a very important place for reviews. The reason for that, this is the first things guest experience. So I've been talking with my team a lot of how we can get the place in great shape so that it looks great when the guest walks in. One of the poor decisions that was made when we were finishing up the finishes on this house is the stairs. As we go up the stairs, you can kind of start to see that there's just some markups on the back of them. They've got this like white paint on there. And the reality is this sleeps 22 guests. So when people are walking in it and going in it or using it, everything's upstairs for one, besides the game room. So there's just a ton of traffic that comes. It dirties up the stairs, and it's really hard for the cleaners to get that every single time because there's so many stairs and it marks up easily. So that's one thing we're trying to fix this year. Another piece, if you want to shoot to the light down there, there's a piece missing on that light there. It's another thing, it's minor, but guests see that as they walk in and it just looks a little unfinished. So that's another little area we gotta fix up. Lastly, on these stairs, these little pieces are falling down. They're cute finishes, but you know, almost all of them are falling down. The glue didn't hold. So those little things we've realized make a huge difference, especially if they're at the start. Now that brings us to the living room. Really, the living room is overall in great shape. One of the common things I see with living rooms is when you have a lot of furniture or couches, stains are really common, right? When people sit down, they see a stain, they get grossed out. I don't care who you are, you do not want to have stains on your furniture. So that's one thing you got to make sure that we touch up in the off season as well. Now we're in the kitchen, and I will tell you, the kitchen is one of the key areas for these larger vacation rentals. Moms, dads, whoever likes to cook, they love doing big meals in here. So for one, it's got to be really well stocked, and two, you got to make sure it's clean and finished very well. One thing we realized, and one thing we've seen with some of our other rentals, is spices. We definitely are going to stock the house with a lot more spices this year. Olive oil, salt, pepper, and then just a bunch of different things. Guests love being able to come and have that here so they don't have to go to the store and buy a big thing of salt that they're gonna use, you know, just a little bit of. It just feels like a waste of money to them. Another thing is, again, this house hosts a lot of people, so you're gonna lose stuff over the year. You've typically got to replace a lot of the cups, a lot of the coffee mugs, pots, pans, all that sort of stuff. On the cleanliness front, we realized too that we've got to put liners in a lot of these cabinets because they just get marked up over time and pretty beat up. So we definitely want to, you know, make sure those are clean. Obviously, this is where people are cooking. So if the surfaces don't look clean, it drives people nuts. One of the last bad complaints that we got in here was around these windows. For whatever reason, we didn't put blinds around the windows downstairs, mainly just in the living room. Everywhere else has it, and it's nice because you get a lot of light in here, but there were multiple comments of people saying they didn't feel like they had privacy. They felt like they were in a fishbowl, right? So that's gonna be a big thing we need to put in this year. We're also right across the street from a big resort, so there is a lot of potential people that can be in this area. Okay, now we're on the balcony. Really didn't get too many complaints about the balcony, but we're definitely gonna add more furniture out here. We have seating for about 5 people. It's just not enough. I don't see it here with this furniture, but one thing that's common is for anything with metal to rust. We're right across the street from the beach. That salt air really kills anything with metal. So that's one thing to look out for. And again, this is meant to be an upscale, expensive. We charge a lot of money per night in the summer. You wanna have all these spaces decked out so people feel like they're getting that value. There were multiple comments in the reviews that people didn't feel like they were getting that value. So that's one thing we're trying to figure out exactly what we need to add back to bring people that value. A lot of times in the reviews as well, people don't exactly mention what they're complaining about. So you really got to dive in deep into the messaging, look back maybe on call notes you have, and figure out what they're talking about. Because sometimes the review's short, It doesn't dive into all the details, so you can't just rely on the review for things that you need to fix up. So this is a problem that's kind of unique to this house. The ductwork on the third floor is really challenging. It doesn't flow throughout the whole floor very well. So we ran into the issue with the summer when it would get up to 90, 95 degrees of these rooms on this floor just weren't being cooled down enough. So we added a window unit kind of as a temporary solution. We definitely are trying to figure out something to replace this. We don't want the ductwork here. It looks terrible. It just kind of gives the place an older feel and a crappier feel when they're staying here. And again, I keep going back to it, but you just got to think about what are you charging, right? If they come in here, they see this, it's just bringing down the quality and the experience of the home. You know, the obvious thing is, okay, we need to fix the AC, but we don't want this aesthetic either, right? So you got to kind of think about multiple things and really dive into what exactly the issue is. Now we're in one of the bathrooms. There's a few things in here I want to point out. These sliding doors, they're older sliding doors and they don't look terrible, but boy, do they break often. They fall off the rollers, pieces like the handle fell off of this one. We're gonna get rid of this just because it becomes a mess to deal with. You know, it falls off the rollers, the guests can't use it. They call us, it's disruptive to their stay, so it's just not worth it. We're gonna remove this and just put either a curtain in here or really fix and replace the shower area. Next is you always wanna be checking for leaks in the off season. So this isn't really something the guests complained about, but we went into all the cabinets. We found one of these in here has a leak. It's leading to some pretty bad damage. So that's a really obvious fix. And that kind of brings me to the next thing in the bedrooms, kind of along the same vein. These ones don't look too bad, but these cabinets here, one, the color on them is not great. This blue is really, really intense. And secondly, they're marked up pretty bad, right? So it looks just like crappy furniture was put in here. You know, there's some minor scuffs on this, but this all has to be fixed. Again, we're trying to deliver that 5-star quality experience, right? And you just can't have these little details scuffed up and looking bad. Ultimately, it just brings down the overall feel of the place. So now we're in one of the extra sort of spaces in here, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with this space. The walls look fine, furniture looks mostly good. There's gonna have to be a few paint touch-ups done, but that's really common in the off-season. Dude, paint touch-ups is pretty essential. But what I'm trying to think about with this room is, again, how can we add more value to the home? It's getting really competitive. Myrtle Beach and markets all over the country are really, really competitive when it comes to vacation rentals. And one of the easiest ways to increase your price and add value is adding amenities, right? So you see homes, we look around, we can see there's homes with golf simulators, there's homes with movie theaters, there's homes with awesome game rooms. We already have one of those below and we're gonna dive into that in a second. But we've got all this open space here. There's a few different things we could do with it, right? We could enclose it and almost make it another bedroom possibly, but otherwise it's not really utilized to its most potential as it is now. So, you know, trying to think of ways of, okay, we have this extra space, how can we add more value and make this place more unique is something you should also be doing in the off season. Now we're in the game room. This is one of my favorite spaces. Guests absolutely love game rooms. And there's really nothing wrong with the game room. Some of the things we're thinking about down here is, one, is there anything else we can add to, you know, really add value and make this space look different? Secondly, one big tip I have that we ran into this year on the issue side was that we got a ping pong table, we've got a little golf area, we've got 4 in a row, or I can't remember the name, but we've got a few different games in here. They all have a lot of pieces to them. You need to have redundancy with pieces, right? In your owner closet, you should have plenty of, you know, backup ping pong paddles, backup golf balls, backup putters, right? A lot of things that could go missing because when you're in the summer and you have a turnover, we have multiple of these houses. So it's really tough if multiple of the houses have missing items. We just don't have the time to go back and forth to Dick's Sporting Goods or Walmart and grab all these little pieces. Really important that you have those little extras stored in the owner closet to kind of save you time and be efficient, particularly in the summer. So that's the end of the video, guys. If you have one of these big houses, you can expect to have your work cut out for you in terms of things you need to fix up and improve in the off season. And that's what it's all about, right? It's just about getting the house a little bit better every year and planning and getting ready for that busy season when guests start to fill it up. So if there's any videos in the future you want me to make, please let me know, put a comment below. If you're looking for property management help and you got a big house like this or even a small condo on the ocean front, we can help you. company is My Beach Vacation Rentals. We're a full service company, so the idea with us is we really take all the work off your hands. You can find us at mybeachrentals.com. Otherwise, guys, I will catch you in the next one.